जयपुर वाया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad को 50 एक्सप्रेस পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो
Hello and welcome to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher and second on the table, take on second last on the table, KKR take on Punjab and Mr. Joy Bhattacharya has handed over his responsibility to someone else in spite of KKR playing today. Please welcome Simon Doull and Mr. Harsha Bhogle. Very brave of Joy there. Simon, do you feel your shoulders very heavy?
I do. I'm actually in his chair as well. I'm usually there when Joy's here, so I'm sort of feeling a little bit...
he was there yesterday too.
I'm feeling a little bit purple.
He was there yesterday.
Today. A little bit, I'm just feeling a little bit purple.
You're looking deep.
They're big shoes to fill.
It's a lot of responsibility. You know the amount of KKR fans in office as well, not only all across India, but in office as well.
If there's anyone who could fit into big shoes, it's Dooley. Have you seen his shoe size?
But he is picky about his shoes. He is picky about his shoes.
If I have to get into Dooley's shoes, I've got to stuff it up with paper in front to wear it.
KKR and Punjab today, do or die for Punjab because they have to win their 6 games. KKR and Punjab, I mean, I know Shreyas kind of endorses a shaving brand, but he takes it, it's always a close shave with him because for KKR, the last 3 games that they defended at the Eden Gardens, they've won 2, they've lost 1, but they just seem to take it to the last ball each time.
I can almost imagine this deep voiceover saying, Punjab Kings, they always give you a close shave.
It's crazy though, isn't it? Like they sort of find a way. They look like they're in the game, out of the game, then they manage to win the game. The Rajasthan one with Jos Buttler was just a freakish innings, and he played that so calm and cool. It was sort of the Jos Buttler that we've come to know a little bit, wasn't it, that innings there. But then Starc goes for, 19 or 18 and 3 hits, and then all of a sudden takes a great caught and bowled. So they've found a way, but it's one of those situations for KKR. They'd love to win one comfortably, I think.
Yes,
it's produced some thrilling games, as he said. The Butler one was interesting because I was calling it, and I said, surely when he started turning down singles, I said, you need to win from both ends.
Yeah.
And guess what? Avesh did not face a ball. Did not face a ball. He actually won it all by himself.
Yeah.
So, I want to show you all this little graphic we have for the 3 games that we are talking about. The RCB game, there was a lot of discussion over whether DK should have taken those singles or not. It went in favour of KKR, that one. You spoke about the Jos Buttler innings, but each of these 3 games, the last ball, we almost felt like we're getting into the super over, but we didn't.
Well, it's 2 teams that take things down to the last minute. I mean, you talk about Punjab and KKR. They've both taken games this season down to the last minute. So maybe we're set for another really tight one.
Well, they will not be defending because Punjab have won the toss and they're going to be bowling first.
Interesting.
So KKR, I think, do you think
KKR have won batting first, haven't they? They almost won every game batting first. They took a Butler special. So I don't think KKR would be too unhappy batting first.
I think you're right. I think they'd prefer to go out there without that pressure. It doesn't put Narayan under any pressure or Salt at the top of the order. And they've got the sort of batting lineup that can just take it away from you. So it's almost like Punjab have handed a little bit of an advantage. It's like sending Sunrisers in. Basically, it's like sending Hyderabad in.
You never know how much it's going to be. It's a team like
you don't want to be doing that by giving it away a little bit.
But for Punjab, we spoke about Harsha, close shave with KKR. But for Punjab also, all their games, they've gone into the last over. So it's quite incredible because you feel like, okay, this game, now it's over for Punjab, and then Shashank and Ashutosh come and they take it to the last over. But unfortunately, they've just won 2 out of and lost 6. So this game is a do or die because they're sitting there at 9.
I think they're sort of in a purely cricketing context, it's not a great thing to say, but I think they're heading more towards die already than to do. So if they win this one, suddenly, it'll just send a message out to the others that they're not just going to turn up for the last few games. So much like RCB did yesterday, from the point of view of the tournament, you want Punjab to do really well today.
Yes.
But they've opted to chase. Their top order has been an issue. I thought they might just want to go and put runs on the board, especially because, and I hope it's true, the reports say there will be no dew today. So then there isn't that extra advantage batting first. If anything, it's baking down. It's mid-40s in Kolkata.
Yeah.
I just wonder if, even if you have it covered, even if you cover the Hessian, will it still dry out under the heat?
It will dry out a little bit, but I'm with you. I think you're giving, if there is no dew and the groundsman has said, look, we've sprayed, we haven't had dew for the last couple of nights, it should be okay. You kind of just want to put runs on the board, I think, and put the opposition under some pressure trying to chase a big score. So, look, we're hearing some changes already, which, maybe that's part of the reason why Punjab have decided to field first, but they're going to have to bowl very, very well against what is a strong batting lineup.
Well, there was Sam Curran at the toss, so it's clear that there is no Shikhar Dhawan. So Sam Curran, poor thing, this season he's trying everything. He's captained 3 games, he's lost all 3, but he said he'll kind of go up to 4, then he'll go and open, he'll take the ball when it's needed, but things are just not working for him. Do you think he's doing it out of pressure, just trying too much?
I don't know. Is Sam Curran a top order batter? Because he can say, look, I'm the captain, I'll bat top order. You can't say, look, I'm an anchor, I'll take the new ball.
Yeah.
So I get the feeling that he's trying to almost justify his price tag. He's trying too hard to say, look, come look at me, I'm trying too hard. I think he's a good striker of the ball, but I don't know. The fact that he's got Russo in the side, he's got Bairstow in the side, he's got Prabh Simran in the side, he still wants to open the batting, it suggests to me there's a problem somewhere.
But Simon, do you just feel like maybe all the names that Harsha took, they've all failed this season? So it's almost like, okay, let me try it now.
Yeah, they've had an awful time with their overseas players. Even their local top order players. Obviously with Shikhar being injured, has left a hole. Prabh Simran's had 1 innings. No one has done anything for them from a batting...
Jitesh, I was hoping Jitesh.
Well. Yeah, I thought Jitesh would be way better. I mean, he's played his way out of any trip to the Caribbean and America completely. I thought he was in contention at the start of the tournament. So they've just got nothing from their top order, and that's been their biggest issue. So, I understand what Sam Curran's trying to do, but I don't think he's a top order player in T20 cricket. It's not his go, and I don't think that's where he should be batting. If anything, I would rather them see move Ashutosh and Shashank up further, get them batting at 5 and 6, 4 and 5, if they're looking for runs, rather than Sam Curran going to the top of the order. But
and it's not just the top order. You look at Sikandar Raza, a couple of games that he played. Liam Livingstone, he hasn't fired either. So their entire overseas contingent is just sitting there in a separate room and saying, oh, no, nobody.
No, but like yesterday's game with RCB, it felt like, okay, now they're at the bottom of the table. They played more freely. Do you think we might see that with Punjab, because they've tried everything, they've gone so close, they've not managed to win? Do you think we might see them just play a little more freely?
Yeah, you would hope so. They always, to me, seem like a side playing under pressure, and for whatever reason that may be. And we've all heard chats and rumours about ownership, and sometimes they pick the team rather than the coach and the management picking the team. And when you've got that sort of pressure on your head, and it seems to be every year, it's not just a one-off occurrence. This does seem to happen on a regular basis to Punjab. So, when you're playing with that type of external pressure, there's always those issues and those moments in games. So you'd like to think it'll free them up, but I haven't seen enough of it from Punjab, and that's going back over a long history of this tournament. So you hope, and if you're a Punjab fan, you live in hope, but does it ever come to fruition? I don't know.
Like Simon was saying, they always seem to chop and change. We'll have a look at the playing 11, because there is a little bit of chopping and changing with Johnny Bairstow coming in and no Livingston there, Harsha. Again, is it just like trying again, because Johnny Bairstow is one of those, if he gets going, he really gets going big?
And no Livingston, because they're playing Curran up there. So if Livingston had to play, who would he have played for? They want to give Riley Russo another go. I mean, with Riley Russo is a bit like Maxwell. Every year you look at his numbers, and every year you think, yes, this is the year. In fact, Riley Russo went unsold at the auction. When he came back, suddenly the bidding went through the roof. But he's never had a good IPL. So if he has one on this surface, good on them, because in internationals, he's either 0 or 100. But I think Prabh Simran might come into that side as the batting sub. But they've top-loaded it with overseas batters.
We have a surprise again in the KKR 11. We'll have a look at that. We had a lot of discussion about whether Starc should play or not play. We'll have a look at their playing 11. He's not playing today and Chamira comes in. But the information is that he had a cut on his finger,
Yes.
which is why he's not playing.
If you remember, I think when he bowled the first or second over in the last game, there was a big hold up and they were trying to put plaster. I remember thinking, okay, if he's got a plaster, can he bowl or no? But he did bowl after that. So it's not that he can't bowl.
Yes.
But he was looking a little cooked, I'll be honest. Maybe the heat is getting to him. I don't know. So it might not be a bad thing. Joy said the other day that don't pick him even if he's fit. But it might be that. I've always been impressed with Chamira when I've seen him. So if anything, it might just add a little more teeth to their bowling.
Do you think it's a like-for-like replacement? Because he's handed over his debut cap to Chamira. It was Starc doing it. Starc, there's just been so much discussed about him. It almost feels like a day off might do him some good.
It might do, but what happens when you give your place up to someone in the side that might have a good game?
Yes.
You don't get back. So for Dushmantha Chamira, it's a great opportunity for him. If he bowls well, and in the context of what Starc's been doing, bowling well could be going for under 40. And picking up a couple of wickets, especially early wickets. If he can do something for them in the power play. I'm a big fan of Chamira. I think he's a very, very good bowler. He bowls the sort of line and length that is very good test match line and length, and I think that's what's been successful predominantly in this tournament from the quicker bowlers. He looks like everything's going to angle into you, but he just holds the line a little bit and nicks right-handers off. So I'll be interested to see how he goes. Good pace, good mid-140s. He's a real competitor. So, good luck to him. I hope he has a good outing. But from Starc's point of view, if you give up your place in the side and someone does well, don't expect to get it back in a hurry, even if you have been paid 24 crore.
But Harsha, Chamira has played for RR, RCB, Lucknow, I think. He's been in the team. He's never gotten into the 11 ever.
When he played for Lucknow, I actually thought it was a very good selection because they had Mark Wood and Dushmantha Chamira. Yes. And I thought, look, out and out fast bowlers, maybe they'll play 7 and 7, 8 and 6, whatever. But he's always been injury prone. When he's fit and in rhythm, he'll bowl a really hard ball. And as Dooley said, he'll get it to move away. And if you want 10 of 3, he can swing his bat right at the end. So I'm quite excited about him playing. I'm just trying to see, this is their batting side that they've put up. So I just wonder if we can see the subs who will come into
we'll have a look at
for them.
Maybe they'll get Arora in. Let's have a look at KKR's subs first. So
just wonder whether they'll get Suyash Sharma. He didn't bowl well the other day.
Vaibhav Arora, you think? Because
I think so. I mean, you look through that lineup and you think if they've got Harshit Rana, Chamira, Russell, Ramandeep, so they've got some seam bowling options, and then you've still got Chakravarti and Narayan, so they don't really need another spinner. Suyash didn't work the other day, so I think Vaibhav Arora is probably the favourite to come into that lineup unless it's really dry, and it actually does start to turn a little bit. But I would think that he'd be the favourite to come in.
And Anukul Roy was also impressive in the last season, but again, he's not given a chance
grips,
at all.
As Dooley said, if it's really gripping and turning, then they might keep the option of playing Anukul Roy.
Let's have a look at Punjab's subs as well. Like you said, Harsha, Prabsimran should be in that, and pretty obvious that he will come in, and he needs to come in and fire because he's just had, I think, like one odd good knocks, but
in most teams he wouldn't have been in contention. But Punjab's poverty in the top order and the lack of Indian batting options, the one key batting option they have is also not available. So that's giving him more chances, and good on him if he's getting the chances. But the stage has come and he has to convert those.
Because he's getting off to good starts. He gets those 30s, 25 30s, and then doesn't really convert them to any big numbers. UV, who's been his mentor, is speaking about it very harshly on social media, saying he needs to convert. And today needs to be that day.
They have these great chants in English football when you mimic another player, and it's basically for Prabsimran, I would be, are you Mayank Agarwal in disguise? Because that's exactly what he's doing. He's getting lovely starts.
Yes.
He looks really good for 20. And then just inexplicably gets out. And that's kind of how I see it. It's just, he's got to kick on. From that point of view, as a local talent, he's getting plenty of chances, plenty of opportunities. He just has to kick on. 30s, 20s, they don't win you games unless they are at the back end of the innings at a great strike rate. He's got to be getting 60s and 70s when he gets, because for the most part, I would imagine he's been inside the power play.
Yeah.
Yes.
This season. If he's coming outside the power play on more than one or two occasions, I'd be very surprised with the way that the Punjab batting order has gone. So he's getting time and he's getting plenty of opportunities. So he's just got to kick on.
I just wonder, Dooley, with the impact sub, are the top order batters almost told, be like a firecracker, it doesn't matter, pat, and you're gone. So I just wonder if there's a license to almost do a 20 of 11 or 20 of 12, saying, look, we've got the extra batter, doesn't matter.
I still think from an opener 1, 2, 3 position, you
want
still
to bat
want
deeper,
to
don't you?
be a little bit, you can be selective without being reckless. And I think, he's probably one score of 80, 70, 80, 90 away from just learning a little bit more. Yeah. The thing I see with Prabh Simran is, and a lot of the talent, not just the Indian talent, the overseas talent, if you're going all guns blazing and it's not there, how do you get your one? And that's his biggest thing for me is, how do I get off strike here? I want to get one off a good ball, make sure I'm putting all the bad balls away, but I've got to try and work my ones. And he seems to be a little bit block or bash. And so that's part of the game that I think he needs to develop.
And also, like you said, they're all going all guns blazing with CSK. Those are the roles defined to them, that's what they need to do. And it seems to have worked for them. With Punjab, you're halfway through the tournament, and if it hasn't worked for you, then you need to change things around, because these numbers here, the top order has been the reason why Punjab is where it is in the points table.
And they've been bailed out by 6 to 8,
yes,
as that table suggests. And who's been that 6 to 8? Those two
Shashank,
kids. Those two relatively less experienced batters. Because one of them 32.
One of them's 32.
Yeah, one of them 32. But the challenge now will be, they were batting all along, Shashank and Ashutosh, with nothing to lose. Nobody expected anything from them. You knew them, but you didn't know them enough. Now, all of a sudden, they're coming in, and now they're expected to score runs. And I think in this batting order, they're batting 5-6 or 6-7 or something like that. They're coming in at a time when they're expected to score runs. Now I want to see how they play.
But would you like to see them come up? Because if they have consistently been
given the freedom, yes.
If they're given the freedom, I mean, the thing that graphic, the story it tells you is all about your top order and how well it's going. Look right at the bottom. Whose top order is going well? You think about Yashasvi's just back in form. Butler, Sampson, Rian Parag. Absolutely brilliant. So therefore, Rajasthan are getting little opportunities. So that graphic tells you as much about how good Shashank and Ashutosh have been as to how bad their top order have been. And when you look all the way down that list, the top orders of the sides at the bottom are going so much better. And that's that's the telling point in that graphic. I would like to see Shashank and Ashutosh bat at 5 and 6. 4 and 5 if they wanted to do something completely outrageous, and give them an opportunity. And as Harsha said, once you're known and once they've had a look at you, all of a sudden they can work out a plan or two and see whether you've got the ability to change and to adapt.
Yes.
And that'll be the next thing for both those players.
And I'm not saying it because Dooley is just is far enough anyway. But bowlers are clever too,
Yeah.
And bowlers will look at Ashutosh, they'll look at Shashank and say, right, we didn't exactly know where to bowl to them. But you know what? We know too, because bowlers are the game's great survivors.
Yes.
So bowlers will know now where to bowl to them. So now the challenge is on those two to conquer what bowlers with a plan are going to do.
And if I'm not wrong, I think Chandrakant Pandit has spent some time with Ashutosh, so he knows where they don't really like each other, if I can put it that way. So he knows where to bowl to him. Yes.
Will he hit a 6 into the KKR dugout?
He will be aiming
because he's come out in the open about it.
Has.
It's not just that it's simmering below. It's come out in the open, and he said, I lost my way, I was disturbed. So
he spoke about depression after being dropped, because he said, I got a 84 and then I was benched.
And he's not the only one.
Yes.
So I just wonder if there'll be a statement there. Though if he scores runs, we don't need to make a statement. But
no, but as a player, Simon, do you feel like, I have a point to prove even more today, and then you go out, maybe try harder than you usually do?
If you do that, you find yourself sometimes trying too hard. Just play your game. Go out there and play your game. And if it comes off, just take it and be very, very calm about it and be cool about it, because then that's telling him more of a story.
Yes.
If let's say he gets 40, 50 and starts waving his bat, that's not the sort of thing you want to be doing. You just do it calmly, go about your business, and if you get it right, then he feels even worse.
Yes.
And you just walk off with a little smile inside rather than actually showing. Just be humble about it and you'll be fine. But if you go into a game trying to prove a point, I think you find yourself coming undone more often than not.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're under pressure, just keep your lips sealed.
Yeah.
Let the bat speak. Like somebody who turned 51 a couple of days back used to do.
Yes, of course.
Who shall not be named on this
the
program.
great learning for all and everyone who's seen him play. Like, I really like it. When you're on the show, you slip it in. I don't need to bring the master in. You do it for me. So I love it when you're on the show.
I just have to let it slip and then Dooley and me can read a book.
But we will see what happens with Ashutosh in the second innings because KKR will be batting first. We'll have a look at their 11 once again. Just one question here on the 11 I have is on Venkatesh Iyer because he's somebody who is usually used to batting at number 3. He used to do that in the last season. He's just been shuffled around everywhere, 3, 5, 7. Do you all think they're kind of a little confused with what to do with Venkatesh Iyer?
Get Dooley to answer that because I'm seeing Rinku Singh down at 6.
4 minutes. We've been given 4 minutes.
I'll be on that theme till they come out to bat. How can Rinku Singh bat at 6? Tell me. How can he bat at 6? Here's an India contender in the little career that he's had. He's won games for India. Venkatesh Iyer is a naturally explosive player. Surely it's easier for Venkatesh Iyer to bat at 6 if you don't want him to bat at 3. That's a story in itself because they like that young Raghuvanshi. And from what we've seen so far, he's looked very good. So they like him there. So if you say, okay, I like Raghuvanshi up there at 3, then surely it's got to be Rinku 5, Venkatesh Iyer 6.
But do you think Venkatesh Iyer has that power to go at 6, 7?
If you put him in that position, absolutely. I mean, we've seen it at 3. He's been snakes and ladders, hasn't he? He's up and down all over the board. It's been tough for him. But at 3 twice, 7, 5, 7, 4, 1 half century off 30, which was a good innings against Bengaluru. But everything else has been a failure, you would say. But it's hard to get any certainty around your game when you're not sure which position you're batting. In each game it's changing and you're going in different situations all the time. So I don't think they're being overly fair to Venkatesh Iyer, to be honest with you. I mean, I like the look of Raghuvanshi. I think he's a fine looking player and a fine player for the future. Totally agree with Harsha. I mean, Rinku Singh, he's better than just a back end batter. You know, don't pigeonhole him in that position because you won't do his career any good. He's a player. He's a seriously good player. He should be batting 4 or 5 at the worst in that particular order. So for Venky Iyer, it's about, I think he's either 3 or 7.
Oh, okay.
For me. I don't think he belongs at 4, 5 or 6.
I agree.
6 or 7 maybe, but if he's not batting 3, then he shouldn't bat 4 or 5 for mine, because then you can split those left-handers up a little bit. And then maybe you get some finishing power from him. He's got no issue hitting the seamers at the back end.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it because he comes in at 3. He's used to facing quick bowling. He can play the spinners, so there's no reason why he couldn't bat at 7 and finish the innings off. If you give him that set role, then maybe he gets some clarity and maybe he can do the job for you. But shuffling him up and down the order doesn't do any player any good.
Harsha, just this lack of clarity that Simon's talking about, because from the management point of view, you back him, you retain him over a Shubman Gill, and then you kind of make him dance around that order is just giving confusing signals, because you've got this 18-year-old at number 3 saying that we are backing you for the season. Then you've got Venky Iyer, who you've retained over a superstar player. So what are these signals going to Venky Iyer?
Every player likes to have a fixed, defined role. Saying, okay, start of the season, Venkatesh Iyer, you are our number 5. So, okay, I'm doing my range hitting, I'm doing my practice. In all my preparations, I'm assuming I'm batting at number 5. I know there's no sanctity once you go past the openers or once you go past number 3, you should be willing to bat anywhere. But I think it'll still make a difference if he's told, this is you. Yeah. For all that you know, he's been given that role. I don't know. But the roles assigned to Raghuvanshi and to Venkatesh Iyer are hurting a superior player. I have nothing against Venkatesh Iyer, but Rinku he's done it so many times.
Yeah.
Well, someone who's been given a role and he's stuck by that role is Rabada, because he's been a gun bowler for Punjab. He has been given this tag of the senior man. He's all of 28, but he's become the senior man in that team. Simon, for a bowler to do just what is very, I wouldn't say basic, but he comes, just bowls those correct lengths, doesn't try something fancy. He's got those 10 wickets, and the amount of dot balls he bowls and creates that pressure, he's been pretty incredible. Yeah,
we've talked a lot about the hard length on this show, and this edition of this tournament, I mean, you look at those dots compared to, it's right up there with Bumrah and Khalil, so that's at the top of the tree. he just hits that hard back of a length on a consistent basis. He's got change-ups. If he needs them, he does roll his fingers across the odd off-cutter. You can bowl the Yorkers at the back end for you if you want to as well. But just hitting the top of off-stump, hitting the stickers. And he just, with his action, he kind of, batters always talk about Rabada hitting the bat a little bit before you think. He's just a slight delay in his action. It's not off the wrong foot, but it's close to off the wrong foot as it can be. And he's just, you say he's still only 28. He's a world-class bowler. He's been around the international scene for a long time now. Started at a young age, and he's just, he really is world-class. He's holding that bowling attack, or that seam bowling attack together and doing everything he possibly can. He's got runs as well. Great in the field. He's got valuable runs at the back end. He's doing everything he possibly can for Punjab.
I mean, in T20, you tend to sort of equalize things a little bit. His great talent is there to be seen when he's playing Test match cricket, where all his little nuances at that pace come in very handy. But I'm happy to see he's had a good season this year. For a season or two, it just seemed like, yeah, it is Rabada, but they're still getting runs off him. So I'm happy to see how he's going. Would love to have another good fast bowler at the other end. I know Arshdeep, they hold him back, so he's a little hit and miss. And then there's Harshal, but would have been great to have had a Bumrah kind of bowler at the other end.
But just a little bit, because you have Simon in the house, Rabada has spoken about how Indian conditions are not very suited to his style of bowling. He said, experience has helped me because I've been coming here for the last 10 years. So I don't, like you said, they're just subtle variations. But he said it's just about adapting the conditions which he tries to focus on when he comes here.
Yeah, and adapting your length, because a good length in South Africa would probably be about 1.5 foot fuller than where he's bowling in India. I would say, because of the bouncier nature of the surfaces, when you're trying to hit the top of off stump or the stickers of the bat, in Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, you might go a little bit fuller. Whereas in India, because there's not the bounce, you have to drag your length back probably 1.5 foot, and to still get the same impression. And so that's probably what he's talking about when he talks about adapting, adjusting, learning as he's going on. And all you can ask from any player is to learn. And learn from the conditions. And he's been here enough. He's been here plenty of times now. He's played Test match cricket, ODIs. He's played this tournament for many years now as well. So if he hasn't learned, then there would be a problem. But he's just so crafty and skillful. And, when he's full and firing, there's not many better going around the world.
It's exactly the opposite when India tour, Australia or South Africa. All our bowlers take time to bowl that fuller length. They're all slightly behind because they get excited by the bounce and they keep getting cut and pulled. It takes time to bowl that fuller length, which in India, they'll be crashing you through cover. So, it's...
Well, we need to adjust our length a little bit when it comes to the joy factor question.
No.
Because whatever...
Joy factor.
The
joy
joy
factor. I thought you were
factor.
going to guessing game.
First, the joy factor question. Let's have a look at what Mr. Bhattacharya has today. In ODI cricket...
Who's the first on the list?
I know. I was going to get here. I have to do my job. In ODI cricket, who's the next name on the list? Master, that's Sachin Tendulkar, McGrath, Yuvraj Singh, Starc, Kane Williamson and Dash.
I was just interested in you reading it first.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised you stumbled on the second name. Okay.
I know.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I got it already.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's filled those shoes. He already has Joyda's shoes. He knows his answers.
There's a code written over there.
So it's clearly he's handed over responsibility well.
Come on, you know this answer. It's very simple.
I didn't get through actually thinking about the question.
All right.
Because I started, fumbling when the master's name came. So I didn't get there. We'll try and figure this out in the green room, but we need to...
No, I've not seen it long enough. I was focusing on her reading it and then actually thinking about it.
Okay.
So we do what we do now. And GK called me in the afternoon with a very serious discussion, saying that he's not going to be in for 4 days. So he's bribed me to say that stay away, don't get any guesses right. So that was his call, but we got to do what we got to do. And you all need to support me because I have to go past GK's score. So Simon, go first.
Oh, they've given away the advantage and KKR will make them pay. 237.
Well done, Dooley. Yes, that's a cat among the pigeons.
How?
I was going to go 210 and when he said 2, I said, Dooley, don't go 10. 210.
237, 210.
Go 165.
No, they are. You're supposed to be on my team, not
Go
team
226.
Okay, I will go.
Or go 234.
No,
don't do that.
I won't do that. I won't do that. I'll go 220. You're 210.
I'm 210.
So 210, 237, and 227.
I'll tell you, either nobody wins or you win, because I always come second.
Well, we've all said 200, but the big question is, will KKR be able to defend 200? Because we know they come and put those 200 runs on, and then...
Against this Punjab side, you make 210 and you don't defend it, then you just go to their dugout, offer them some mishti doi, and say, well played.
Okay, you all have heard it from Mr. Harsha Bhogle and Simon Doull. We'll be coming.
You didn't get a mister.
We'll be getting some mishti doi and dahi and keeping it with us while we watch the match. We'll give you all the updates at the 10-over point at the Cricbuzz Combox. So you will see you all there very soon.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
হায়দ্রাবাদ 50 এক্সপ্রেস পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दें